Let us look at an example of how styles and designs are created and developed.
This piece is of historical significance. It's by Jennifer Clark, the Premier's sister. So this is by a lady from Argentina. She lived here for several years and did this particular piece, if you can see it. Of course, lots of Aboriginal stuff. There's another Aboriginal piece up there. You know, I've always loved art, and I found myself surrounded by so many, you know, artists that I started collecting paintings where I could, paintings or other works of art, and I figured I'll put together a collection of them, and you know, maybe I'll get someplace someday that I can actually display them.
Today, a new moon is in the sky, a 23-inch metal sphere placed in orbit by a Russian rocket. Here, an artist's conception of how the feat was accomplished. A three-stage rocket. Number one, the booster in the class of an intercontinental missile. Its weight estimated at 50 tons. The smaller second stage took over at 5,000 miles an hour and carried on to the highest point reached. 500 miles up, the artificial moon is boosted to a speed counterbalancing the pull of gravity and released.
I was doing a lot of moon work. I'm big on moons, right? Bright, bright, bright colors. I'd always loved glass and the idea of working with it. They are buying a piece of me. Like they are buying a piece of my dream, my world, and my passion. Started to work in glass about 25 years ago, in cold glass actually.
I think I've always had an artistic bent, because I used to like painting when I was a kid, and I've always loved music. But I always liked all my subjects in school, so I didn't think of myself as an artist really until I was quite a bit older, until my mid-30s.
When I was in high school, I joined the camera club and was really involved in still photography, and decided with a couple of buddies of mine in high school to make a film about native reserves and the living conditions on them, which were atrocious. So it was probably then where I initially became involved with social and environmental issues. Then went to film school in Toronto, got a degree in film and television production. But it came from still photography and then film, and then my larger concern with the environment and social issues.
You are hearing the actual signals transmitted by the Earth-circling satellite, one of the great scientific feats of the age.
We didn't have a very difficult time if we worked at it to get a job in the business. It's a lot tougher now. There's more and more voices, and you know, to find a way to attract somebody to your story or what you want to say is increasingly difficult. I distribute my films through international and national distributors that sell to broadcasters, and so I want my projects to go global. I want my films to be viral. If I have a story that's worth telling, I want people to watch it.
It's a sad thing. I think it's a really sad thing, because I think that art is so personal, you know, and I think that when you mass produce something, you take the soul out of the piece. Globalization also to me means that work moves around the world, and that I don't think is a bad thing at all. I think that's a wonderful thing of sharing cultures and sharing, and our work is affected by when you travel and who you work with.
Good thing, we get a greater cross-fertilization of ideas, and that gives a lot more inspiration to artists. I suppose the negative side might be that other countries can produce art cheaper. However, I'm very much in favour of reproducing art. It's very difficult to go thousands of miles to a gallery, and it wastes a lot of fuel and money to have to go there and see the original. So I'm very much in favour of high quality reproductions to save us the expense of having to travel.
The art that I like is an anti-globalization art, totally anti-globalization. I mean, talk about community-based art. Theatre is as community-based as you could possibly get. The essence of theatre is that it's live. It's totally ephemeral. It has nothing to do whatsoever with technology. If you have two people and an audience, you have theatre. One person and one person watching him with no speaking is still theatre. A man walks across the street and somebody watches him, that's theatre.
have dialed has been changed. The new number is, please note, the new number is